Alright, we're gonna call this the calm before the storm. AKA update notification, but a Fed channel pretty soon. Let's check it out.
Let the lesson begin.
What's up guys, Akariss here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Heroes video. Today's video is a talk about the update notification, of course. And as with all of these update notifications, pretty much in the past half a year, they follow a pretty standard template, which would be our ephemeras, minor changes to Ether Raids, Mjolnir Strike, maybe some small quality of life stuff, and the weapon refines coming up. Without any really specific details, I would say that, yeah, we're probably due for a Book 6 Fed channel since Book 5 has officially ended. And with that, we're going to take a look at what the update notif has in store for us, just my thoughts on it. And of course, I will cover the Fed channel as it's released and what I think of that, and maybe revitalize some of my older guides on that sort of thing. Maybe a new player's guide if necessary, or best weapon refines, just going through stuff all over again, see what really needs an update. If you have a suggestion, I'm all ears. You can let me know in the comment section. If you feel like a certain type of guide in a certain mode, or just some systems are unclear that I could go over again, please shoot me some ideas in the comment section. I'll be sure to read them, and with those ideas, I'll definitely work on it as I see what Book 6 brings for us. So yeah, let's take a look at what this particular update notif has in store for us. Don't forget to smash the like button though, and sub, as that does help the channel, and I do appreciate that. So, first up is actually something pretty minor, but for some this is pretty cool. The memento events from Hero's Journey are being added upon, and it seems like they even have a Christmas theme. I gotta admit, these are actually quite entertaining as I do them and pair them up with my heroes, so I appreciate them, and I definitely understand those of you that also use Hero's Journey as a sort of like nice, feels good type of mode. It definitely gets that message across, and probably even worth spending stamina pots for some of you. I like the mode, and I think it was a good addition to the game overall to give it some much needed flavor that isn't all just competitive in nature. But yeah, there's not much more to say on that. So next up is our batch of ephemeras due for December. Now with Nino and Erica, this is fairly expected, I would say, because they were both formas in the past, so it makes sense that they would show up as ephemeras because they tend to link like either characters from the paths, the codes, or the ephemeras with formas that we've had. Kind of give people, I think, like a free +1 kind of feel. Like that's how I've kind of connected a lot of this. You can kind of see that with ephemeras. Not all of it, not all the paths are connected, but there's definitely some links there. Anyways, so in terms of what we got here, the fodder isn't all that impressive, I would say. With Nino, I believe it's a rally plus attack res. I believe she has Bold Fighter, maybe Armor March. I'm going off the top of my head here, guys. It's very, like, I don't really remember. If that is what it is, then awesome. It's just free stuff, so we can't really complain on it. Erica has Joyous Lantern, which actually isn't too bad, I would say, from long range buffing. I have used it quite a bit in different modes. It just takes the highest attack unit on your team at the beginning of the turn and gives them defense and res from a distance, buffs them. So it's kind of like a gap skill, like a defense res gap in the staff. I don't think that's too bad actually, since you can free up your C slot to be something else, like a drive, or potentially just not have to use buffs across the team and use just like a staff unit to do those long range buffs. It's pretty good actually, definitely unique. In terms of fodder, she doesn't really have anything else. Attack opening is, I think, already on Iego, so it's whatever, but it could be a chance to maybe add a merge if you do have her forma from before. Other than that, Leonie is coming back as a 4-star, so she has Sunflower Bow and attack speed push 3, which is cool, I guess. Not much more to it. Next up is our weapon refineries. Some of these are definitely a bit of a shock, and others are expected. So we have Walmart here, who kind of skipped the line in favor of Akariss, who got ignored again, but he is a Red Tome infantry, and I mean Akariss is. So, you know, yeah, we kind of know how we feel about Red Tomes, I think, by now. It's whatever. Walmart seems interesting, and his weapon was already kind of cool. We do have Nyla, and that's a kind of different, like, addition here, because Nyla's actually from book 3, and she's a beast unit. So both of those are definitely a little bit different than what we would have expected. If anything, Ophelia should have been here instead of Nyla, but they now have confirmed that Beast will get weapon refines in the form of Nyla, and there's book 3. So we can start seeing, like, Tibarn or Mordecai definitely getting refines, but probably Tibarn. I'd see Tibarn getting one pretty soon. Summer Young Tiki was completely expected, as she was the next seasonal with a preference weapon. Libra is interesting. Sugar Ray feels like he should have been here, but I think that Nyla took his spot, because they do try to make like all of these different colors for the new power banner. If you think about it, we have our red, blue, green, and colorless, and then of course Walmart is a he's a GHB, so he doesn't end up on a banner. So I definitely think they consider that when like putting these weapon refines together. Libra is pretty much holding a bolt axe, but it isn't called a bolt axe. I don't even inviolable axe, whatever. But it's basically bolt axe. So if that actually follows the trend of like awakening bolt axe or just bolt axe in general, then it could potentially be hitting res, similar to what like Crusher is, or have a distant counter on it. I would say it probably doesn't have a distant counter on it. That would be a surprise. Or if it combines distant counter with like res hitting, that would be pretty good for a 4-star. I'm not going to make any early predictions here, but if they try to make it similar to what that weapon is based off of, then that could potentially signal something cool. If I'm going to be very like conservative with my guess here, I feel like it'll hit res. That would make a lot of sense, or at least some sort of adaptive damage, and that would help Libra quite a bit. Think of like Petrine hitting res. I could definitely see that on this weapon. And it would make him stand out, actually. Like, that definitely would be a unique effect, since Petrine is really one of the few characters who do that. So having another one in the game, especially a green, and one that's actually an infantry, would help quite a bit. So yeah. Now, Loki's also another... I mean, I think the timing is pretty funny, because we just had Thor release, so Loki also gets upgraded. Loki's staff is already really good and usable, even in today's game, because it ends up being a controllable tactics room, and that is strong if used correctly against certain enemy teams in Aether Ray's defense. So what they do with that and how they change it could really change the game if they want to really push that. And I mean, like, if they do something crazy like sudden gravity, where they just hit everyone with gravity, or they add an isolation effect to it, or even allow the gravity effect to hit melee units, if they expand upon that gravity effect in different ways to different characters, or maybe add the stall ploy effect, where like if someone has movement, they get reduced to 1. Any of those type of effects on Loki could definitely make her very, very meta relevant. So let's see what they do here. She is a 5-star exclusive, and she's a pretty important character, so I wouldn't really put it past them to not push that character to the next level. And I'm actually fairly excited, because those type of changes are interesting. Okay, anyways, to finalize what we're going off of here, we have just the minor changes as expected, which is Tactics Room, new music, including Black Knight theme, which is awesome. Mjolnir Strike updates, who cares? For the Heroic Grails, we've got Sophia and Sedgar coming up. Sedgar is a notable addition here, being the instant bow fodder that is really good for many bow units on defense. Book 5 ending, we kind of already know from YouTube, so whatever. An interesting addition here as a quality life change is putting a sort of like green tint on the unit as its end turned, indicating that it can still do another action, which is a dual or harmonized skill. Now, personally, I haven't forgotten to ever use my dual or harmonized skill, because I have that setting that doesn't end your turn automatically as long as a dual or harmonized skill is available. So I've always like at least been like everyone is cleared, and I'm like, oh, that character can potentially use their dual. Should I use it? No. So it's an interesting addition, I guess, maybe, if you're not familiar or haven't been using them much. But yeah, that's it. As for maintenance, we got a 3-hour maintenance window on the 6th of December. I would assume that that is when Book 6 will roll out, and potentially Fed Channel being even around that time. It could literally be during that maintenance, or it could be a day before. We'll see exactly what happens there. But either way, it's pretty exciting what's coming, and look forward to it, I guess. Yeah, guys, that basically covers everything with the update notif, my brief thoughts on it. And yeah, I think next months ahead could potentially be exciting. Let's find out. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, smash the like button, sub if you haven't already. If you love the content, you love me, you love FEH, and potentially want to help out, consider the Patreon description. It helps a lot. It really means a lot. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.
It's over.